Hi everybody. So I wanted to take this opportunity to videotape an overview of our cabin bike project, and at the same time to answer a lot of common questions that I've been getting asked, the same question over and over. So just real briefly, we see here a cabin bike behind us. It's about halfway done. The overview, real quickly, I'll tell you, we started with a two-seater. This is not a two-seater. The two-seater was just too long. The two-seater that we started with had about a 112-inch wheelbase. The vehicle's about 15 feet long. And some early testing and early prototyping showed us that it was just far too big for a two-wheeled vehicle. So we decided to go with a one-seater, took out the back seat, shortened the vehicle up. We came up with about a 97-inch wheelbase, which seems to work. We tested that configuration locally in our nearby area. I was mainly concerned. I wanted to be able to do a U-turn out at the street, which it's able to do with a 97-inch wheelbase. And we also wanted a vehicle that had a lot of power, and our target speed for the top end, 150 miles an hour. We look like we're on track for that. Probably even a little bit higher. Quarter mile, 12-second or better. There's very, very few street cars and stock street gear that do 12-second quarter mile. There may not be any, actually. And then 0 to 60, we're looking for about 5 seconds. Our donor vehicle does a 3.2, so I still think 5's easily obtainable. And pretty much that would be as fast as any car out there. One of the questions I get asked a lot about is the landing gear. Is it automatic? And the answer is no. And I tell people it's not automatic in a fighter jet, and it's not automatic on a cabin bike. But don't let that scare you. The landing gear is pretty much akin to putting your foot down when you stop on a motorcycle. And after you learn where the switches are and you've tried it a couple times, it becomes second nature. You're not going to stop and forget to put your foot down. You're not going to stop and forget to put your landing gear down. You're not going to land an airplane, I hope, and forget to put your landing gear down. It becomes second nature. A lot of people have asked me if we can configure this for a gold wing, and right now the answer is no. Gold wing is just too long, too heavy, not enough power, nowhere near the top end that we were looking for. And taking that all into consideration, it just can't be done with a gold wing. One of the highlights of this project is the fact that our donor is what we call a non-sacrificial donor. We take the bike apart, we put the various components in the cabin bike, but we don't remove the engine or transmission or fuel injection, the computer wiring harness from the donor vehicle. We're going to leave the donor vehicle completely intact and basically just bolt it to the rear firewall of our cabin. There's one main bolt in the head of a motorcycle that holds the frame to the forks, the steering. We're going to take out that one bolt, put the back end in the back of our vehicle, put the front end in the front of our vehicle, put the body on, go ride. One of the other things I wanted to mention, the windows. We tried real hard to get a door, and you may be able to see we've come up with a gull wing door. We tried real hard to get a window that would go up and down inside that door, and with the room and the weight that we had to work with, we could just not come up with something that I was happy with. Yeah, we could do some plastic slide open thing like an old Countach or older airplane plastic window that slides open. It just didn't look classy enough. So what we've opted to do is we're going to leave the window solid on the driver door, on the port side, I should say. So on the port side, the door is going to open, and on the starboard side, the window will open. We wanted to be able to drive this around with the window open, and also sunroof on top will be able to open. So you'll at least be able to open the sunroof, open the starboard window, and get that feeling of being on a motorcycle. The other thing that we were looking at with this kit, with this design, is to try and make something affordable. If we used a $14,000, $15,000 Hayabusa as a donor vehicle, we're already out of the range of most people. When we did some market research in the beginning, we found at this point in time, in 2013 dollars, we found the magic number to be about $20,000 that a person would be willing to spend or invest to get a nice cabin bike. Now we know there are cabin bikes out there for $100,000. I think there's 2 of them in the United States, so they're not doing anybody any good if there's 2 of them in the whole United States. They cost $100,000. Our target budget for a guy to be able to do this in his garage is about $20,000, and we're well within budget right now. I'm sure I've missed 100 things. Looking at it here kind of reminds me, we're using the TL1000 as the donor bike. We've used the headlight from the TL1000. We've used the turn signals from the TL1000. We can't see it here, but the gauge cluster and the complete front wiring harness is all intact from the TL1000. We've used the mirrors off of the TL1000 and the brake master cylinder, which has been relocated up front. On the bike, it's near the pegs, and we relocated that master cylinder to the front of the vehicle. And then in the rear, it uses everything off the TL1000 intact. So again, in the front end, a lot of the components that we're using are the components that we took off of our donor vehicle, but we're not cutting anything, and we're not sacrificing anything. This is all just bolt on, and we could remove it, put it back on the motorcycle if we decided we needed to do that. One last thing I'd like to mention is the seat. A lot of people say it looks like the seat is really far back. That's so that you can get in the vehicle, but the seat moves. It's electric, and it moves about 8 inches, I think. So the idea is you leave the seat back to make it easier to get in the vehicle, push the seat up forward when you get into a comfortable seating position. Target weight about 900 pounds, top end 150 miles an hour, quarter mile somewhere in the 12s, maybe better than that. Target budget about $20,000. Now that doesn't count development. We're far, far beyond that development. But to be able to reproduce the kit we're designing, we're looking for about a $20,000 target. And I appreciate the input you've all given me, and I hope you'll stay tuned for some more videos.